Hey guys, John here, and today I'm going to discuss about which games are good for the controller and which games are not so good. I'm going to test out 4 games today: Gran Turismo, eSports WRC, Formula 1 and Assetto Corsa Competizione. I'm going to put them in order in which I believe that the pad is well designed and you can be really fast, you can have good consistency and so on. And last, it will be the game which I believe that you still can be fast, but you won't have the consistency and the wheel players will just outpace you no matter what you do. But that does not mean that you should stay away from the game that is not designed well for the controller. You can still have very much fun with the game. But the first game is of course Gran Turismo 7. Gran Turismo 7 I think has the best controller simulation, I'd say, or pad configurations, or you may like to say it in other words, but for me it is simply the best. You can be very fast and very consistent. In some cases you can be faster than wheel users. Low downforce cars benefit controller players, with high downforce cars are not so good. Also, tracks with left-right transitions, low speed, are not really good for a controller. I've put here one example of me that I did some time ago, I think around 1 month, in a Nations Cup. This is I think #1 lap time, and I am driving with a pad. This is just to show you that pad players can also be very fast. Now, the Mazda 787B, some of you may say it's high downforce car. Yes, but not so much. It has less downforce than a GT500 car. I would say it has around like a GT3 car, or maybe even less. And Daytona doesn't have many slow speed left right left corners, so it is very good for a pad. Wheel users are good too, but pad you can benefit very much from track combinations like these, with older cars, maybe some low downforce Group 4 cars. And you can see here I am 7th in the world. And now moving on into an experiment that I did. Now, I knew that the slower you are, the slower your throttle application is. So I am now slumming the brakes and the throttle. The throttle response is slow and the throttle response is very fast, maybe even instantaneous. But when I go up to speed, that changes. The throttle application that I do is almost instant, and the brakes not so much. They have a small, I would say, delay. They are being applied slowly. They are also being let off slowly, which I didn't know before the making of this video. But it is really, I would say, interesting. And here you can see the worst corner for me, the tightest corner in the game, if I'm not mistaken. This is a controller player's nightmare. But here I have a GT3 car on the circuit Spa. Now GT3 cars, they are right on the edge where controller starts to, maybe just start to be slower. You can be still really fast. And I am very happy that GT3 cars or Group 3 cars are so much used, because they are such nice cars. They are easy to drive and they have high skill ceiling for pad players as well. But right now we are going into F1 games. Now, what I'm about to say here is for F1 23 and 24. Mostly for F1 23. I have no experience with F1 24. I have not played it. This is 23. But what I say will apply to both games. Now, the F1 games are, they are very good as well. They have some new mechanics that they brought in F1 23 that made controller players' lives so much better playing F1 games. It's just that you have so much more precision when steering. You can go left, right, so much faster. You couldn't do that in older games, and this is a game changer. Now, unlike in Gran Turismo, the brake inserter application is whatever you put. So don't worry about that. Whatever you put, it will be read on game as you do it. And I'm trying a test right here. I'm going to try that in Monaco as well. But I am trying to see how the game reads my inputs when I'm stopped, because in F1 23, unlike in Gran Turismo is the opposite. The faster you go, the faster it changes directions. In Gran Turismo, if you had a low downforce car, it will be very, very fast. If you had it's a bit weird in Gran Turismo. But in Formula 1, the slower you go, the slower the direction is changed, and the faster you go, the faster the steering direction will be changed. Now, I tried this at Monaco too, because if you didn't know, in older games, when Codemasters got their license for the Formula 1 games, they had made it so in Monaco you had a bigger steering ratio. So yes, you're not so precise, but it was needed for the hairpin. And so I'm testing it here, and as I am seeing, it is the same. I'm not seeing any difference. And so I go for another run to see how it is, but I think that it is a bit slower when you go fast, around 150 to 100, as I do a Rosberg. And I don't think there is any difference from circuits in Formula 1. So that's very good. In Gran Turismo there is a difference between cars, which I do not like, but it is what it is. Well, I cannot change that. But WRC is the next game. WRC, I think, is very well optimized for controller as well. You can be quite precise, you can be quite fast, but you cannot be as consistent. There will be some moments where you just cannot save, which are varied on a pad, but you can still have so much fun, even with a controller. So this is one of the games that I think you should get for controller racing. Even though it is not the best, it is so much fun, and you don't have to move around so much when you play, which I find it good, because if you're on the wheel you have to move around, you get really sweaty. But with a joystick you have some centimeters of travel, you just move your thumb, you don't get sweaty. But what I'm trying to say is that WRC is quite well. It is kinda like in Formula 1, but the steering speed change in direction is the same no matter what speed you do. The faster you go, the lower your input is, though. You can steer a specific amount, but this is done for more precision, which I'm in favor of. I actually kind of like it in a way, but I would say it doesn't have much of a difference, except that you cannot feel the road, which is a really big downside, I would say. But you can still have some very good fun, as you can see I'm driving right here. And as I crash. But that was my fault, it was not my controller's fault, my fault. Just know that. And last but not least, we have Assetto Corsa Competizione, the worst game that you can play on a pad, at least in PlayStation. It is a simulated game, so it is not meant for a pad, it is meant for a wheel, alongside with games like iRacing, Race Room, R Factor, and many other themes. But again, you can have really good pace, you can have consistency, you can have fun, but it will not be like the wheel. You can see here, again, I am fast, but I just do not have the consistency, I do not have the feel of the car. It's not there, I cannot feel when the car gets loose, I cannot feel when the front tires lose grip or the rears, I cannot feel the bumps on the road, the curbs, even though I can feel it through the vibrations, with which I would say they're some of the best vibrations I have ever felt. It has nice adaptive triggers, which is a nice bonus. The only racing game which I like the adaptive triggers, they are only on the brakes though, but they're still very nice. Although this doesn't make it so good that you should drive on a controller, it's just not the same as a wheel. I have never played with a wheel. I've played once for 5 minutes in a store, but I just cannot imagine the amount of things that I will be able to feel how the car gets loose, when the car gets loose, and how to react to it, how fast I can react to it. So many things that are different in simulator games. It's just something else. But again, I've had some very good fun with Assetto Corsa Competizione, and that doesn't mean you should lean out of the game. In my opinion, you should, well, build strong foundations with a pad and then move to racing wheel. You can build some very strong racecraft with a pad. You can be among the fastest players alive, even if you're not on wheel. If I'm not mistaken, I am right now the fastest controller player in Gran Turismo 7. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I've seen. I am very good on low downforce cars, whilst high downforce cars I am not so good. Zerui Silva is very good, a Portuguese player. He's much faster than me on high downforce cars. So you may too have a style that suits you, but that doesn't mean I'll stop racing with high downforce car. I'll take on it and try to improve, because maybe he knows something that I don't, and that is for sure. I go out and race with wheel players every day, and sometimes, most of the times, I'm faster than many of them. Of course, there are people that I just cannot catch up with, but it may be a skill issue. It may be that I'm on a controller, it may be a skill issue of me that I'm just not good enough. But you can, what I mean, why I've made this video is because you can be really fast with a pad too. Don't get your mind into saying, oh, he's on a wheel, he's better than me, I am on a pad, I cannot do anything. You can. So go and grind that time trial, go and grind that race, whatever it is. Go and grind it. You maybe become faster, you will learn something new. Never say no to challenges, and I'll see you soon, guys. Bye bye.